Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Tonight we are getting the reveal of the next set of new heroes to drop in just a couple of days, I think on this Friday. So, got the trailer pulled up here, haven't looked at the thumbnail or the title. We're going to go ahead and hit play, react to this thing together for the first time, and then kind of evaluate the whole banner as a whole. Let us get started. Wait for that text to leave. Alright, okay. Alright. New heroes join the battle. So is it going to be Engage? Are they going to stay on that Engage train? No, they are not. Hello, Tireless Advisor. She looks so cool. Lucia. So she is going to be an infantry red sword unit. Queen's Blade. Harsh Command 4, Life and Death 4, Repel 4. Oh man. Love the clean art on her. Really great. What else have we got here? Realms Protector.
Come with me. I will remain by Queen Elincia's side.
Geoffrey.
It is my honor.
So we've got a Cavalry Lancer as well. Queen's Lance. Flow Force 3. Attack, Defense, Menace.
Prepare yourself for
Alright. He's got really nice art too. Very well done.
My dear beloved Lucia, it pains me to
Chromeus Keystone is going to be Bastion as a green tome infantry unit, and it is going to be a Radiant Dawn banner. Does look like Bastion is going to be the 3-star focus unit of the banner.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Love it. Get that deer out there. And, oh, okay, an Ascended Hero. We are getting an Ascended Hero, not a Resplendent. It is an Ascended Hero this time. And, oh, that's Elincia, Devoted Queen. She looks really good. That art is amazing. Kita Senri doing a fantastic job. And she's going to be a flying staff unit, which I think a lot of people thought was a... there were rumblings. A lot of people were guessing that we were going to be getting... actually a Resplendent. I heard a Resplendent staff unit. We're actually getting an Ascended staff unit. Interestingly enough, new story chapter Goddess Reunion. Oh, who is that? Tell me more about her. You can't just drop that character design and just walk away like that. That's not how this works. Hold on now. So she is going to be on the map here, which I don't think that means we get her for free. If we get her for free, pop the champagne, because that's awesome. I want to know more about that character, please. But no, doesn't look like there's any surprises there at all. Starting on the 16th of February. And of course there is going to be a Spark. It is a new hero banner, so everybody is going to be able to Spark on this banner and get the first 5-star guaranteed at 40 pulls in. Alright, well, not an Engage banner. It looks like they are going to space them out a little bit, which I think is a good thing. I think that's very healthy. Keeps people from being a little bit too fatigued, and even though that may end up like drawing out the amount of Engage banners we get over the course of time, I think that's okay, and I think that's healthy. So, the art all around on the banner is actually really, really strong, like across the board. Every character is really great, including Bastion, who is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner. Elincia looks beautiful. And again, Ascended flying staff unit. It's interesting though that the selection of characters that are here are all great looking, but they all are part of like the most saturated pools in the entire game, except for Elincia. You got a sword infantry unit, you've got a lance cavalry unit, and you've got an infantry green tome unit, which probably are the most populated pools. Maybe not the green tome. It's probably up there though. The other two, I think, are probably the most populated candidates as far as pools go, and most competitive. But we can rewind, take a closer look at what they've got. Again, face value, I kind of want to summon for Elincia, especially if she's got good stuff for flying staff units, obviously, because I just put a bunch of stuff on my Brave Camilla. If you're going to give me more, I'll take more to put on her. So let's rewind and take a closer look at the skills that they've got here. So Lucia looks really cool. I'm always a big fan of the hair over the one eye in general. Just really clean art, very well composed. She herself looks confident, has this sense of poise about her. You can tell that she's dangerous and formidable, just from her stance there with the blade at her side. Love the details in the trailing cloth. You've got the sort of the decals on the actual hem of the cloak behind her. The color composition is just really nice too. It really does bring out the blue of her hair, because everything else is a little bit more neutral in color. Form-fitting top is definitely very attractive on her as well. The belt buckles and then the large boots all comes together really well. So Queen's Blade is 16 might, grants attack +3 at start of combat at HP threshold of 25% or more, grants +5 to all stats during combat, and also deals damage to 20% of unit's speed, and reduces damage from attacks during combat by 30%. Just straight up. Really. Unit and target cannot trigger specials during combat or area of effect specials. What? Really? Wait, she just flat out disables specials? Except for after combat specials. So it doesn't... We'll go back and take another look at this, but that would not include something like Gale Force, because that's an after combat effect. Okay. Disables the following effects for both unit and target during combat: defensive terrain effects, support effects, guaranteed follow-ups, effects that prevent follow-ups, effects that prevent counterattacks, effects that change attack priority, like Advantage and Desperation, disables skills of all other foes and allies during combat, excluding unit and target. This is such a crazy sword. It just disables everything. It just disables... It disables all of these different skills, all of these different support effects, team buffs, specials in general, even her own special, which is a reason why she doesn't have a special on her, right? That would make sense, right? Because she'll never trigger it, because her blade inherently disables her own special. Unit and target cannot trigger specials during combat, or AoE specials. Really what we're looking at is just Gale Force. Gale Force would be exempt from this, right? And I think that might be it. So she would want to run Gale Force. This is really kind of the way it goes here, because all of her other specials would just be rendered disabled. All of these other disable effects are really centered around this being kind of a duel between Lucia and her enemy. And while I certainly said that she's in a saturated pool, so she has to set herself apart somehow, and she's certainly doing it, because she's basically disabling everything and making this a one-on-one duel. Any other effects that could possibly impact the results of the battle are disabled. So you've got, the defensive terrain effects, so any actual defense tiles, those are nothing anymore. Support effects, guaranteed follow-up attacks. So the any skills that would change the natural ebb and flow of battle get disabled. And that's definitely something very, very unique and very dangerous too. Something that you really have to keep an eye out on, because that can be a scary thing for sure. It is effectively shuts down so many skills. Some units are basically rendered kind of completely helpless in a lot of ways. Harsh Command Plus for the assist, Life and Death 4 for the A slot, Repel 4 for B, inflicts -4 on speed and defense on foe during combat. If a skill compares a unit speed to a foe's or ally speed, treats unit speed as if granted +7. Okay, alright, that makes sense. If unit speed is greater than foe speed, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AoE specials by percentage equal to difference of stats times 5, max 50%. And if a unit initiates combat, foe is moved one space away after combat, right? So the other repel effect. So effectively, it just has a built-in debuff to the stats that are most important, effectively making her do more damage. And then it also gives her a phantom speed effect on some level to help her meet the threshold for the rest of the skill, which is as long as she outspeeds her opponent, she gets a damage reduction of up to 50%. And that is going to stack with the 30% damage reduction that's just inherent with Queen's Blade. It's not additive, it is multiplicative. But that's a lot of damage reduction. That's ultimately a lot of damage reduction that's not, that's on either phase. It's not just on one hit, it's just throughout that she's just going to enjoy. So that's a big difference as far as survivability goes, and that's going to help her, especially since she has Life and Death 4 for the A slot. And then even Temp is 3 for the C slot. Even number turns grants 1 extra move space. So, oh man, all right, I see what she's putting down here. I mean, this is really a very unique set of effects. They've always put out, having skills that disable other skills is certainly, we're no stranger to that. The fact that this kind of like disables everything in the kitchen sink, that would change the normal flow of combat, in terms of order, in terms of forcing or disabling certain effects that you would normally have in combat, and also just disabling specials. It almost feels like she's trying to cater to the purity of the duel, almost, if that makes sense. And so it kind of feels like that's kind of seen through her weapon, and then she's gonna have a lot of damage reduction built in too. So honestly, really unique and fun. It's a fun set of effects and kind of scary implications. We got Realms Protector Geoffrey here in his full cavalry armor. Honestly, looks really great. I love the gleam of the armor itself. I like how it has almost this kind of dull stone effect on the actual plated parts of it. I like the flow of the cloth behind him. He looks like a tall drink of something. He's quite handsome, well put together. I think they did a good job on the art. So he has Queen's Lance, which is 16 might. If bonus is active on unit, enables Kanto remainder +1. Alright. Accelerated special trigger, killer slaying effect. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants +X to all stats unit during combat, where X is 5+ the highest bonus on each stat between unit and unit support partners. Calculates each stat bonus independently. Reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 40%. On either player phase or enemy phase, it looks like. And also, if bonus is active on unit, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. I see. So his weapon is all about making sure that he has a bonus active on himself. Because if he doesn't, he loses a lot of effects, including a Kanto. Having Kanto built into your weapon, in general, is just very, very, very strong. His has a condition, though, in that the condition being that he has to have a bonus on himself, which is a relatively easy condition to meet. You just have to have a team composed around it, or for he himself, I see he has Attack Defense Menace in his C slot, so of course he is going to be able to self-activate that bonus as well. But if he has that bonus, gets that Kanto, which is very good, Killer Slaying Effect, stat boosts equal to at least 5. So he always gets 5 to all of his stats, as long as he's player phasing or within 2 spaces of a unit, again, of an ally, which is incredibly easy to meet. And then plus the highest bonus on each stat between the unit and unit support partners. So it has to be a support partner, not just an ally. So that's interesting. It kind of has to work specifically with the arrangement that he has a support partner. Outside of that, it has no effect at all. Well, that's not true. It has the effect of his own bonus. So it would take, if he has an activated bonus on himself, so in the instance of Attack Defense Menace, he would get +6 to his attack and defense. It would take his own attack and defense and then have 6 + 5. So he would effectively get +11 to his attack and defense, and then +5 to his speed and res, if we were just taking that particular bonus into effect. Luna for the special, Flow Force 3 for the B slot, neutralize effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks, and neutralize units' penalties to attack and speed during combat. Quite strong. And then Attack Defense Menace, like I said. So he's got quite a formidable kit overall. It's absolutely nothing like Lucia's. It's completely different. I was kind of thinking with the namesake they would be somewhat similar, but they're absolutely completely different. His is a little bit more generic. It still has kind of that kitchen sink effect where there's just a ton of stuff thrown in there. A lot of it is based around him having a bonus, so that is sort of his own gimmick that he has to have a bonus active. But again, that's not really a difficult condition. And then getting some damage reduction, the foe can't follow up attack, getting all the stat boost involved, and the Killer Slaying Effect plus the Kanto is just a very, very solid kit overall. Bastion, who is going to be an infantry green tome unit. Love the theatricality, I think, the drama to his outfit. You really have these thespian vibes coming off of him, and it feels very appropriate. Really, just those those fabulous golden curls coming off of his hair, and the facial hair as well, and then this really extravagant sort of the collar and cloak mechanism with the buckles in the front, just pretty darn elaborate. a lot of flourish, I will say. So naturally, Bastion is going to be the 4-star focus unit of the banner, and he has GuardianE Plus. So this is a new green tome. If foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants attack +5 to unit, inflicts attack -5 on foe, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. Alright, okay. I mean, that's alright. It's nothing really that special, I'll say. They've been making the inheritable weapons better. It's just that now that they've introduced rearmed weapons, it's like everything that's not a rearmed weapon feels not good enough, almost, you know. But that being said, it's still pretty solid. I mean, for what it's set up to do and the ease of access to it, it's pretty solid. Iceberg, Sabotage Res 3, Attack Ploy 3. Yeah, his kit's not great. I mean, GuardianE is, again, it's interesting. I think you could definitely have application for it. It's not. I don't think it would necessarily be like a go-to. But it's certainly solid if you're looking for an inheritable green tome. And then, of course, we have Ascended Elincia here with the Kita Senri art as a flying cleric. And she looks majestic. I mean, there's no way to go about it. She definitely has these princess, queen vibes with the ornate staff that's there, just gilded, and has a giant ruby or some other precious stone at the top there, fitted with pearls and other jewelry. Obviously, it matches she herself with the beautiful golden colors and hues of her dress that's meticulously tailored around her, fitting almost like a corset up at the top and then blooming out at the hip, where you have this giant trail behind her, and it's like almost mimics like a big orchid. You have these ribbons trailing off of her. Again, it feels like there's almost this gilded shine to some of the hemwork on the side there, around the shoulder area. And then the hair. The hair looks so beautiful, shining and shimmering. She, of course, does have a tiara as well across her forehead with emeralds in there to sort of match her green hair. But love how it kind of flows off to the side tufts as well, just kind of lays across her front. It's very well put together. Love the art. Kita Senri always does a great job. So naturally, Elincia is going to have a unique staff here. Crimean Scepter, 14 might. Calculates damage from staffs like other weapons, so has a wrathful effect, has a killer slaying effect. Max cooldown count cannot be reduced below 1. Oh, so you can't have an insta-charge. That's interesting. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +6 to attack and speed, and the following status to unit and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. If unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. If unit initiates combat or within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack plus speed +6 to unit, and grants bonus to unit's attack and speed equal to the highest respective attack speed bonus among unit and allies within 2 spaces times 1.5, calculates each stat bonus independently. Okay, alright. Alright, so she has the killer slaying effect. She gives herself an attack speed +6 boost, so an actual activated buff for her and her allies within 2 spaces at the start of the turn. So that is a blue activated buff on her stat line. And then she gives a guaranteed follow-up attack, which is really good, actually. It's really good for a cleric to have the guaranteed follow-up attack built in somewhere, because they don't have a lot of options to get that otherwise. And if unit is player phasing or within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +6 to attack and speed. So it grants it in combat, plus attack speed +6. And then grants a bonus to attack and speed. So that means she gets a bonus +6 times 1.5, which would be 9. So she gets 9 added onto the in-combat +6. So she gets +15 to attack and speed, which is very, very strong. And she already has the buff that she had given herself activated at the start of the turn. So all that being said, she gets +15 in-combat buffs to attack and speed, and then in addition to +6 activated buffs to attack and speed. So it's quite a lot. It's very strong. Rescue Plus for the assist. It's certainly one of the best assists for a cleric in the game, a movement-based assist, one of 2 that's available. And then Light's Restraint for the special. I'm curious about this, if it's going to be inheritable, because it does have an exclamation point. I don't know, but it's 2 cooldown. If an assist skill is used, unit special cooldown count does not go down. Okay, alright. When special triggers, boost damage by 25% of foes' res. Okay, alright. Calculates damage from staff after combat damage is added. If special is triggered during combat, inflicts special cooldown count +1 and guard on target and foes within 2 spaces of target after combat. Foe cannot exceed the foe's maximum special cooldown. That's really good. That's really good. Huh. Special cooldown count +1 and guard on the target and foes within 2 spaces is a really solid effect. That's quite strong. Wow. I hope it's inheritable. I don't know if it is going to be. I have a feeling that it's not. But if it is, I want it 100%. That special cooldown count +1 and then guard on the enemy is just so useful in reducing the efficacy of the enemy's specials. And so many teams and units just rely on that in a hard way that you can shut down like offense with a move like this. That's really good. Attack speed push 4 for the A slot, dazzling shift for the B slot. So the new dazzling tier 4 skill for the B slot. A unit can move to a space adjacent to an ally within 2 spaces. Inflict speed -4 on foe during combat, and foe cannot counter attack. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that additional mobility is quite nice, and then the in-combat debuff is just a great addition to the dazzling effect. That's really nice. And then speed res hold is obviously going to be very good for her. So overall, I mean, she's just going to be a powerhouse in terms of what value she brings. I mean, as a support unit, having Light's Restraint not only increases her damage output as a special, it's also going to just reduce the enemy's effectiveness in terms of their combat ability. Reducing, shutting down their specials for 1 turn is a really good, it's a really powerful effect. And then the rest of the kit, honestly, it just works really well in tandem. The hit and run tactics that are provided from something like Dazzling Shift and being able to teleport, the hold skill. Naturally, her weapon itself has really powerful implications in terms of not only herself, but what she grants her allies. Those buffs are nothing to scoff at, and the fact that she gives herself, if she gives herself some of those buffs on the start of the turn, means that as long as she's within 2 allies, 2 spaces of an ally, which if she's going to be using her shift skill to teleport, she most likely will be, they're going to also get that 1.5, so they're effectively going to get the +15 to attack and speed, even if they themselves don't have a buff on them. So, all that stuff is really strong. She's going to be quite powerful. If you don't have a really great flying healer, let me tell you, they're a powerful unit. They're a powerful class of unit, and Elincia is definitely going to be a valuable asset if you decide to pick her up. I can tell you that for sure. So once again, starting on the 16th of February, and presumably going for the entire month, I suppose, is a very good chance, is going to be New Heroes and Ascended Elincia. Elincia is the prize of the banner. I mean, that's without question. A relatively rare movement and weapon type. Her skills are amazing. She's going to have so much utility to a team, so much value, not only as an offensive power, but also in reducing the enemy's effectiveness, in debuffing them, and also buffing her allies. So just overall, just a very strong value there. And of course, as an Ascended hero, you get a Floret. The big issue here, of course, is that they're not limited. They're in the regular pool after this banner leaves, so you are going to be able to acquire them at any point you summon on a colorless stone in the future. So there is that, of course. That being said, I think that as far as Ascended heroes go, Elincia is very good. I think the runner-up then would be Lucia as the red, even though she's a sword infantry. Probably one of the most unique sword infantries that are out there. I mean, just what she brings is just a very interesting set of skills that shuts down so much that exists in the game. And a lot of BS that I think a lot of people would say is that she just shuts it all down. It's really quite remarkable. The other two, not as remarkable, I would say. I mean, they definitely have some good stuff. Maybe not Bastion so much. Bastion's he's a merge project effectively. The weapon is not bad as an inheritable tome. The rest of it is pretty bad. But yeah, I definitely Elincia's the prize, without question in my mind anyway. Lucia is also, I think, pretty good and a good second, and also very unique, so she has value there. Me personally, if that special is inheritable on Elincia, then I may end up going in on this banner to get a copy. If it's not inheritable, then I will. I don't know. I'll probably just pass. I think just because we got to remember there's so many banners incoming that are going to be pretty big. A Hero Rises is going to be pretty big. And then there's the double special hero banner that comes. Whenever that comes, that's going to be probably pretty big. So there are things around the horizon to take note of. And if this banner is going to be around for an entire month, then there is certainly value in waiting it out, especially since they're not limited. So just bear that in mind. But let me know in the comments below if you are excited for Elincia or the rest of this crew that's available on this banner. And if you are, who you're going to be summoning for. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.